You won 10 million in the lottery, but instead of giving your girlfriend a dime, you broke up with her. In your past life, after winning that money, your girlfriend spent your cash while refusing to even hold your hand. She'd even booked 2 rooms on trips, claiming she was saving herself for the wedding night. She constantly made up excuses about sick relatives, home repairs, or tuition fees, demanding you transfer money to her, all labeled as voluntary gifts. Once she drained you dry, she called you a tacky lottery winner with no future, dumping you for a junior managio. After 3 years of playing along, you lost touch with the real world, failing at every job you tried. Finally, after stumbling out of a bar, you were killed by a truck running a red light. Now, reborn after winning the lottery, you immediately dump Wang Mengyue. You just did the math. After taxes, you have over 7 million left, even with low interest rates. Putting it in a high-yield oatsao would net you around 200,000 a year. Rather than being a miserable wage slave, you'd rather just lie flat. As for starting a business, forget it. 7 million would vanish without a trace. Even people smarter and more capable than you fail at business all the time. Why would you succeed? So, you have no such plans. With 7 million, if you're careful, besides supporting your parents, you'll lie a comfortable life. Maybe even enjoy some luxury now and then. Isn't that better than damned lop? Soon, it's time to claim the prize. To avoid being recognized, you wear a frog costume. Even though it's a lawful society, and the risk of robbery is near zero, you decide to play it safe, to avoid any unnecessary trouble. If they can't see me, I'm not embarrassed. The embarrassment is all theirs. After the paperwork and the interview, you reluctantly donate 200,000. Then walk out with the trek in hand. You find a nearby bank, and 2 hours later, the trek is cashed. Looking at the 7 million balance on your phone, you're overjoyed. But before you can enjoy it for long, a Porsche hits you right outside the bank. A cold, professional beauty steps out. You have to admit, she's the prettiest woman you've seen. Even your ex, Wang Mengyue, pales in comparison. Her high-end business suit perfectly accentuates her figure. Her features are so exquisite, like a masterfully crafted work of art. You can't look away. Gu Lingyao looks at the frog on the ground, her expression icy. As the 11th IO of the Gu group, she usually has a driver, but today she was visiting a patient, so she drove herself. She just left the hospital, heading to the office, when a frogman crossed the road. And just like that, an accident happened. Gu Lingyao crouches down beside you. You catch a whiff of her perfume. You don't know the brand, but it smells amazing. Gu Lingyao frowns and asks, "Sir, I am so sorry. Are you hurt anywhere?" You struggle to sit up. "My leg hurts." "Anywhere else?" You think for a moment and shake your head. Gu Lingyao breathes a sigh of relief. You can talk and think, so it doesn't seem too serious. Then she makes a call. "Secretary Chen, I hit a frog into the guardrail. The frog head even rolled off." "What? Ms. Gu, you hit a frog, and the head rolled off?" Secretary Chen on the other end is stunned. "Ms. Gu, are you serious? Does hitting a frog count as a car accident? Should I notify its family? I can't contact them even if I wanted to." "Wait, no, I hit a frogman." Gu Lingyao asks you, "Sir, what is your name?" "Suemo, I hit a person. His name is Suemo, get over here." Secretary Chen replies immediately. "Oh, cool, I'm coming." She hangs up. Gu Lingyao looks at you. "Mr. Su, please don't worry. I've already called an ambulance and the police. You'll get help soon." Gu Lingyao has a strong presence. Even her words of concern sound like a business transaction. You don't answer, just nod. After that, Gu Lingyao says nothing more. She watches your condition, while checking her watch repeatedly, frowning, looking quite anxious. In less than 10 minutes, you're at the hospital. After a full trek-up, you're in a room. You lie on the bed, watching the nurse change your floor, feeling deeply sentimental. "I guess I'm just fated for car accidents. Killed by a truck in my past life. Hit by a car after winning the lottery now. Oh heavens, if I have sinned. Please spare me." The room is huge, with a floor-to-ceiling window overlooking the view. It has a sofa, TV, and everything else. The furniture looks high quality, definitely not cheap. When Suemo was wheeled in, he even saw a lounge and a kitchen. This is clearly no ordinary hospital room. It's nothing like the hospital he knew. Is this the legendary 6AI ward? You chuckle to yourself. Never thought I'd experience VIP treatment. The only downside is being in a hospital. If it were anywhere else, Suemo would be thrilled. Right, a hospital this night can't be cheap. I wonder if insurance covers it. What if, when they split the liability, I end up with 50%, even 30%? Would I have to pay them back? Also, it's been so long. Why hasn't the police arrived yet? Click-clack. The sound of heels stops at the door, pulling Suemo back to reality. A few knocks. Then someone walks in. Suemo looks at the visitor. She looks sweet, about 1.6 meters tall, wearing a white shirt and a small blazer, dressed like a professional city woman. Her hair tied up shows her efficiency. She's holding a stack of files. She walks to the bed, smiling at Suemo. "Hello, Mr. Su. Let me introduce myself. I'm Chenya, Ms. Gu's secretary. I'll be handling your case from now on. Are you feeling any discomfort?" "Thanks. I'm fine for now." "That's good. Your TET results are out. Luckily, no fractures or internal bleeding. Just moderate soft tissue bruising from the impact on your leg." Seeing Suemo frown, Chenya quickly adds, "Don't worry. After recovery, it won't affect your life at all." Chenya shows Suemo the reports. After he finishes, she asks, "Mr. Su, this bruising requires a few days of hospitalization. I see you're a student at Jincheng University. Do you have family here? Should we notify them? If they can come to take care of you, it might help your recovery. Any lost wages or travel expenses will be covered by us. Don't worry, if that's not convenient, we'll hire a professional caregiver for you." You shake your head, knowing it's nothing serious. Suemo feels relieved. "Since it's nothing major, no need to tell my family. I can manage." Chenya nods. "Oh cool. We'll do as you wish." After talking with Chenya, Suemo has to admire her. This is what you call professional. Chenya leaves the room, Soon, a doctor and a caregiver come to give instructions. After they leave, Chenya hands Sumo a business card. Mr. Su, since you're fine, I'll come back tomorrow. If you need anything, you can call me anytime. Taking the card, Sumo is shocked. Chenya, assistant to the 11IO of Gu Group, was the person who hit me the 11IO of Gu Group? Thanks, sorry for the trouble. No trouble at all, Mr. Su. It's our duty. Leaving the room, Chenya reports the situation to Gu Lingyao. Mess, Gu. The accident is handled. The patient is fine. Just needs a few days of rest. He's a student about to graduate. Very easy to talk to. There won't be any negative press. Good. I see. For the next few days, Sumo enjoys high-end treatment, nutritious meals and care. Make him gain a little weight. Besides Chenya visiting once a day, he hasn't seen the woman who hit him again. But Sumo doesn't care. CEOs are usually busy. Besides, he's well fed. Has a caregiver, the swelling is almost gone, and the scrapes are healing. He'll be out in a few days. He wanted to leave the second day, but Chenya insisted he wasn't fully recovered, so he stayed a few more days. He's bored in the hospital. He wanted to use his phone, but the cracked screen ruined the experience. Sumo decides he'll get a new phone once he's out. This week is the Jincheng University job fair. Many complain about it being in late May, but the school doesn't care. I hear your opinions, but the decision is mine and nothing changed. His 3 roommates hear about the accident and want to visit him immediately, but Sumo knows they're busy with recruitment and exams, so he turns them down. Until Friday, when the job fair ends, they finally come to the hospital. Tang Hong Kong, the loud one, pushes the door open and shouts at Sumo. Sumo smiles, welcoming them, and shares the fruit and milk he can't finish. He can walk around just fine now, though his left leg is still a bit sore, with a slight limp. Third brother, heard you had an accident. You scared us. Looks like you're fine now. It's Zhang Danian speaking. Sumo smiles and says, if you'd come any later, I would have healed on my own. They all laugh. Tisk, TSK. Third brother, this hospital and room aren't simple. Li Xin looks around in awe. Tell us, did some rich lady hit you? Seeing you're handsome, she fell for you and wants to save you decades of hard work. She's showing off her power. Third brother, don't forget us when you're rich. Hearing this, Tang Hong Kong and Zhang Danian get excited. Sumo rolls his eyes. What are you thinking? Even adult movies aren't this cliché. Whatever, they say in unison. Sumo decides to drop the subject. Anyway, the job fair is over. How'd it go? Tang Hong Kong and Zhang Danian's faces fall. Tang Hong Kong says, second brother, you tell him. Don't call me second brother. It sounds disgusting. Zhang Danian retorts. Then Tang Hong Kong continues. Third brother, you were right to skip it. You don't know. Our major is a disaster zone. Only a few real company spots. The rest are all agencies. Hong Kong and I went to the same agency. We applied for AI Pi engineer roles, but they said we needed training, so they put us in sales. Tang Hong Kong sighs at the sky. I heard we have to make 500 calls a day. 500. 500. Sumo expected this, so even with the accident, he didn't miss much. Li Xin, what about you? Sumo asks Li Xin, who was smiling silently. Him? This guy has always been hiding it. He's got connections. His family already got him a job at the AI Pi department. Awesome, Xin. Sumo gives Li Xin a thumbs up. Li Xin smiles. Don't worry, brothers. Once I'm settled, I won't forget you, my sons. Just as they were joking, the sound of heels rings out again. 2 sets of footsteps. After a knock, Chenya pushes the door open. Their eyes are instantly drawn to the visitors. Unable to look away, Gu Lingyao walks in. She isn't in her usual business suit today, but a black blazer dress, looking very elegant and dignified. Her arms swing gently, and she wears custom black boots. They look different from anything on the market. Her legs are straight and slender. Her skin so fair it's hard not to stare. But the only downside is the cold look on her face. Her eyes are bright but calm, as if nothing can catch her attention. Gu Lingyao's presence is too strong. She hasn't said a word, just walking in, and the room feels like a temperature drop. The room goes silent. Under their gaze, Gu Lingyao feels no discomfort. She walks to Sumo and speaks, her voice cold and clear. Sumo, I'm only just now coming to see you. Please forgive me. Sumo waves his hand. It's fine. It was just a minor injury. What you came not didn't matter. Please sit. Intimidated by Gu Lingyao's aura, his 3 roommates wink at Sumo. Third brother, I forgot to eat breakfast. I'm going to grab a bite. Wait for me. I need to buy water. The 3 vanish from the room in a flash. Your friends? Your roommates? Gu Lingyao nods, saying nothing more. Chenya says to Sumo, Mr. Su, the doctor has evaluated you. You can be discharged today. Do you feel any discomfort? I'm fine, no discomfort. Sumo has been wanting to leave, even in a VIP room. It's too boring. That's good. This is the settlement agreement for the accident. Please take a look, Mr. Su. If you have no objections, please sign. Sumo takes the files. Party A, Gu Lingyao. Sumo glances at it. So her name is Gu Lingyao, not name. Party B, Sumo. As he reads, Chenya explains, Mr. Su, according to the police report, you are 30% at fault. The details are as follows. Chenya keeps talking, but Sumo doesn't hear a word. She's so professional. As expected of 11 iOS secretary, he only sees that Gu Lingyao will pay 10,000 in damages. Since you're a student, it's hard to calculate lost wages, but since you missed the job fair, the Gu Group is willing to offer you a job opportunity. It's a trial period, strictly following our company regulations. If you pass, you can stay. If not, you'll be let go. Sumo thinks about this. He doesn't want to work at the Gu Group. Seeing him frown, Chenya asks, Mr. Su, is there a problem? You're 30% at fault, so our compensation is already beyond legal requirements, and we're offering you a job. Chenya is trying her best, although the Gu Group is negotiating a big deal, and wants no bad press. That doesn't mean they'll be blackmailed. After Chenya finishes, Sumo shakes his head.
No problem. It's just that the job offer. Can it be converted to cash?
Mr. Su, you don't want to work at the Goo Group? Chenya's eyes widened.
Confused. This is the Goo Group, a dream job for many.
Direct employees have great benefits, starting at $10,000 a month during probation. Once you stay, the salary is well above average.
Plus bonuses and dividends.
Annual salaries of hundreds of thousands are normal.
Unless you're a top talent.
Regular people have to pull strings.
Just to get in. Suamo nods. I really don't want to work there.
Why? Gu Lingyao asked suddenly, raising an eyebrow. As 11IO, she's curious about someone who doesn't want in. Thanks, MS Du and Secretary Chen.
But it's just my personal preference. Please understand. Chenya looks at Gu Lingyao. Gu Lingyao nods slightly.
Chenya smiles. Fine.
Since you don't want to work here,
we won't force you. How much compensation would you lie instead? Sumo slowly holds up his fingers. 50,000? Impossible.
Mr. Su, you're asking for too much.
Chenya's voice rises.
Although this is nothing to MS Gu, it's a matter of face.
If word gets out that the 11IO was blackmail by students,
it'd be better to just let it hit the news. Gu Lingyao frowns too.
Asking for 50,000 right off the bat?
What a shallow, money-grubbing person. I have money. But I won't just give it away. Just as Gu Lingyao is about to stand up, Suamo says,
5,000, not 50,000.
Seeing them stare at him, Suamo continues.
Look, the cost of living in Jincheng is high.
I need to rent a place, eat. 5,000 isn't much. They fall silent.
Especially Gu Lingyao, though her face is calm.
She's shocked.
As the 11IO of the Goo Group,
a top company in Jincheng, everyone praises her. She never expected
someone would get up a job there for mere 5,000 yuan.
Even if you don't stay, having the Goo Group on your resume would make you set in Jincheng. Seeing them silent, Suamo thinks to himself, is 5,000 too much? Maybe 3,000? Or 2,000?
Just as he's about to lower the price,
Gu Lingyao finally nods. Suamo beams.
Thank you, MS Fu. Thank you, Secretary Chen. Finally, Suamo walks out of the hospital with 15,000 yuan, feeling satisfied.
Warm words aren't as good as a big trek.
As for working at the Goo Group? No way. He remembers Wang Mengyue was desperate to get in, even flirting with Lu Wenlong to do it. In his past life, she ended up with him.
If he worked there, he'd have to see them every day, dealing with office gossip and rumors that he was trying to get close to her. Then Lu Wenlong would bully him at work. He doesn't care about his reputation, but he'd rather not deal with that Dra Ma.
If we end up seeing each other all the time
and start office gossip again, saying she tried everything to join Goo Group for him, back when Lu Wenlong, guitar bro, bullied her at work. I don't care about my reputation, but this went against his plan to just coast through life. There was no need to deal with people like Wang Mengyue or Lu Wenlong. I hope they stay stuck together and never see each other again, unless he's lost his mind. He would never work for the Goo Group. Suamo is fine, but Wang Mengyue is truly sick. Ever since that day Suamo treated her like air. Wang Mengyue has been ill from drinking. After a whole week, she finally recovered. Why, Suamo, why are you treating me like this? Wang Mengyue couldn't figure it out. The Suamo who used to be so obedient and doting, why did he suddenly change? Suamo, you become so like a stranger. I don't even recognize you anymore. Perhaps that which is unattainable is the most precious. Over these past few days, she often thought of him. She wanted to know what he was doing. Recalling their past in her mind, Wang Mengyue tried to find some clues, but found absolutely nothing. Suamo isn't a jerk. Wang Mengyue knew this deep down. Suamo was handsome and humble. Very popular with girls. In the past, many girls secretly wrote him love letters or gave him gifts. Suamo ignored them all. He didn't even glance at them. He burned all the love letters. He never crossed any lines. She reached a conclusion. Suamo must be playing games and throwing a tantrum, wanting her to apologize. But she had already apologized that day, giving him a way out by saying she was drunk. Suamo still ignored her. She'd been sick for so many days, yet he hadn't sent a message or called. It seems you didn't love me as much as you said. Suamo, if you really loved me, you should be the same as always, until you win me over completely. Mengyue, it's 12 o'clock. Let's go eat. Zhao Shirhan asked. Wang Mengyue was lying on her bed, dazed. Wang Mengyue shook her head. Shirhan, you go ahead. I promised Wenlong I'd eat with him later and talk about work. Zhao Shirhan gave her a deep look. Alright, I'll head out then. You gave up a job at the Goo Group for 5,000 yuan? Third, that's the Goo Group. Are you out of your mind? Tang Hongkong took his hand off Sumo's forehead. The kid doesn't have a fever. Damn, he didn't get hit stupid by that car, did he? The three of them were shocked that the person who hit Sumo was Gu Lingyao, the 11IO of the Goo Group. They were even more shocked he turned down the job. It's beyond belief. You have no idea how many people are dying to get into the Goo Group at our university. Besides our cursed major, fewer than 10 people get in every year. Even Wang Mengyue had to rely on. Realizing he'd said the wrong thing, Zhang Danian looked at Sumo apologetically. Sumo smiled and said, it's fine. I already said I broke up with Wang Mengyue. Everything about her has nothing to do with me now. Really broken up? Yeah, really. While chatting, the three went to the cafeteria to get food. Sumo took a big bite inside. Cafeteria food is still the best. That expensive, nutritious hospital food made me want to puke. It had no flavor at all. The life of us common folk is much more flavorful. You could have ordered takeout. Sumo sighed. I wanted to, but the hospital didn't allow it. And that nurse was too diligent. She wouldn't let me eat it. Here, third, eat more. Here, take my chicken leg. The university cafeteria tables were long. There was an empty seat next to Sumo. Zhao Shirhan sat down next to him with her tray. Seeing Zhao Shirhan, Sumo frowned slightly. Classmate Zhao, do you need something? Zhao Shirhan smiled. Can I just say hello? Suit yourself. Zhao Shirhan took a small bite of her food. Where have you been these past few days, Sumo? I haven't seen you on campus. Sumo stared at Zhao Shirhan, confused. Other than you helping Wang Mengyue with errands. We aren't that close, are we? Of course. I paid for it. You drank plenty of milk tea, and even used plenty of sanitary pads. The other three looked at Zhao Shirhan. No way, is there gossip? They felt they were close to the truth about the breakup. Stared at by them, Zhao Shirhan's mouth opened slightly. Her spoon paused in midair, looking a bit lost. Well, Mengyue is sick. I just wanted to tell you.
Suemo stared at Zhao Shirhan.
He had no interest in her beauty right now. He wondered if this woman was sick in the head.
Didn't he tell her last time
that after breaking up with Wang Mengyue, it's over, and we aren't close? What does she mean by coming here now? Out of politeness, Sumo spoke coldly.
Classmate Zhao, I don't want to say this a third time.
Wang Mengyue and I have broken up.
Her business has nothing to do with me. As a fellow student, a friendly tip. If you're sick, see a doctor.
I'm not a doctor. Right, this woman is truly bizarre. Suemo muttered to himself.
Disturbed by Zhao Shirhan,
Suemo lost his appetite.
He shoveled the food into his mouth quickly.
In that short time,
Tang Hongkong looked at Zhao Shirhan 15 times.
And Zhang Danian had a goofy grin.
Suemo put his tray down, ending his lunch.
There were no classes for the next week,
except for graduation photos.
Everyone was in the dorm studying for finals.
Once the exams were over,
they would officially graduate.
Coming back would mean visiting their alma mater.
Time flew to June 7.
That day, Suemo put his finished exam paper on the desk, sighed, and walked out of the classroom. It's finally over. We've graduated. Walking out of the building,
many students cheered,
celebrating the end of college life
and looking forward to the future.
Suemo remained silent.
He walked alone through his 4 years of college.
For the awakened him, it felt like a mess.
If he hadn't won the lottery,
he wouldn't know how to face the future.
In high school, Sumo's grades weren't bad, but not great either.
He chose Jincheng University,
just to be in the same school as Wang Mengyue. He could have gone to a better university and chosen a better major. But thankfully, it's all over.
Suemo looked forward to the future, looking forward to his life of just coasting.
He let out a long sigh, shaking those thoughts from his head. He wasn't a sentimental person, but since his rebirth,
he had been thinking a lot more.
Perhaps because before, everything was for Wang Mengyue.
He had no thoughts of his own.
A soft voice called out to Suemo. Frowning, Suemo turned around.
Classmate Wang, do you need something? The person who called him was Wang Mengyue.
She was wearing a white floral dress today, biting her lip, looking at him without moving.
Suemo had a soft spot for white,
but he had no desire to keep looking.
He remembered Wang Mengyue was a transfer student in his senior year.
She arrived on her first day in the afternoon.
By the time the dorm was settled, she hadn't even reported to class, and it was already night.
The school was holding a mid-autumn festival gala. Everyone was at the field watching the performances.
Wang Mengyue, having watched half,
walked to a quiet part of the school.
That was the first time Suemo saw her, since the uniforms hadn't been issued.
She was in a white dress,
dancing under the moon.
No dike, no applause. Compared to the noisy field, this place was a different world.
Like an orchid in a valley, elegant and noble. Her steps were light,
tiptoeing, spinning, or leaping.
The white dress followed her graceful movements,
like a blooming flower.
It was as if 2 moons were shining in the sky.
Suemo, walking by, happened to see the scene. Wang Mengyue's figure was etched into his heart. From then on, he was hooked.
When she finished dancing,
she saw Suemo dazed on the side.
She greeted him naturally.
Hello, I'm Wang Mengyue, a transfer student, class 8.
As she spoke,
Suemo snapped out of his trance. He didn't know what to say,
so he just kept
clapping hard,
as if he wanted his applause to drown out the fields.
Seeing him lie that, Wang Mengyue giggled. Hey, what's your name? I'm Suemo. Suemo was in class 8, and they became desk mates.
Senior year was short. Neither said they liked the other, but when filling out college applications,
Wang Mengyue said,
I hope we can be desk mates in college too. She changed her application,
accepted a major transfer, and here they were. She couldn't quite remember her original dreams anymore. When Suemo walked out of the building,
Wang Mengyue saw him.
His left calf was still hurting a little, making him limp slightly.
He's hurt. Suemo, he's hurt.
So she called out to him. When he turned, she was happy,
but also regretted it, biting her lip.
She didn't know what to say.
As for Suemo,
she didn't know what she felt. Was it love?
Maybe at first, there was a spark,
but entering college, everyone showed off everything they had,
whether it was personality, status, or money.
Why do others have phones worth thousands? Why do others get double rooms? Why do others use expensive makeup? Why do others wear different clothes every day? Why are we all students?
College is a big melting pot.
The fairness of the entrance exam was gone. Listening to others,
it felt like their finish line was others' starting point. This made Wang Mengyue anxious and unwilling. She gradually distanced herself from Suemo.
Many people pursued her, including wealthy heirs and talented students,
but the way they looked at her was different from Sumo's gaze.
His was as if she were a treasure.
Their aggressive, purposeful looks made her uncomfortable. One day, a rich heir brought a bag worth tens of thousands, looking at her with a smirk.
Wang Mengyue, be my girlfriend. I can buy you one of these every month. Wang Mengyue rejected him. She felt insulted.
Suemo, returning from a part-time job,
happened to find her crying on the side of the road. He didn't comfort her,
just sat quietly with her. When she finished crying, she suddenly wiped her tears, smiled, and said to him,
Suemo, I know you like me. Let's be together.
Maybe it wasn't love for him either.
Maybe her lonely soul just needed a crutch. Or maybe 2 people out of place in the city
seemed like a good match.
But Suemo was genuinely in love with her.
He treated her like a treasure.
He knew what she wanted.
After that, he neglected his studies, just wanting to work another job, earn another 100 yuan,
so he could buy her another gift. Breakfast, rain, or shine.
Late at night or early morning.
Suemo was always there. He tried to give her the best he could.
If there's something that can never be satisfied,
it's human desire. Because Suemo gave everything to her. New phones, clothes, makeup, it fueled her desires.
When you don't have it, you want it. When you get it, you want better.
At first, she genuinely wanted to stay with him, trying to fill her heart with him.
Like a dance under the moon.
It wasn't a stage, but it became the most shining moment.
But reality isn't a dance. Besides dancing,
there were so many things to grasp. Until that day, she lived in a 4-person dorm. A girl had the same birthday as her. The girl's wish was expensive makeup and a new phone.
And she got it that day.
She only dared to wish for a strawberry cake and a hair clip, even though that girl's grades weren't as good, and she wasn't as pretty After that, for some reason, she could never be calm with Sumo again. Her words were filled with blame. And after that, she started using her beauty to socialize, getting countless flowers and gifts. She started enjoying that feeling, using her beauty to gain benefits. At the same time, Sumo's status in her heart dropped. Only, the old Sumo couldn't see it, or couldn't see it clearly. Until that day, she said, "Sumo, let's break up." She said she didn't lie him. It had been half a month since she contacted him, but she felt empty inside, as if she'd lost something important. Sumo looked at her quietly. Everyone has the right to pursue happiness, to pursue what they want, as long as it's not illegal. It's not wrong. But Wang Mangyue, you shouldn't have treated me like a fool, letting me serve you, draining me dry, and then kicking me away. Wang Mangyue, you were the one who started and ended this. That's fine. I don't owe you anything. She opened her mouth, but only said one word. If you have nothing else, I'm leaving. Zhao Shihan had told her about seeing Sumo twice, but even when she was sick, he didn't reach out. Looking at his indifferent attitude, she felt a sourness rise again. Maybe after she said they were over, they really were over, even though he couldn't give her what she wanted, and she didn't think she liked him that much. Why did she still want to cry? "Sumo, you've changed," she said softly, trying to lower her stance. "You've become someone I don't recognize." Sumo smiled. "People change. Everyone is changing, don't you think?" Mangyue, before she could finish, a male voice interrupted. Hearing it, Sumo frowned and prepared to leave. He was stopped by the newcomer. "Sumo, wait." Stopping, Sumo said coldly, "Classmate Lu, do you need something?" It was Lu Wenlong. He wasn't a true rich heir, but his parents were in business, and they had some money. He was considered wealthy, especially his brother, Lu Wenwu, who was supposedly an HR director at the Gu Group. Using this, he had Wang Mangyue, who wanted in, under his thumb. Regarding her actions, Sumo had a forward evaluation. Hypocritical. With her beauty, if she really wanted material comfort, she could easily find a rich man to marry, be a trophy wife, or if lucky, find a 70-year-old man, and maybe lie a great second half of life, though her reputation might suffer. The money would be real. But she insisted on acting like she was working hard, drifting between men, relying on self-righteous tricks to get benefits from them, like she did with him before, and now with Lu Wenlong. But not everyone was as stupid as he used to be. The price he paid might be different. Lu Wenlong looked at Sumo smugly. "Sumo, I heard you didn't even attend the job fair. Must have already found a job. Where are you working?" Sumo said coldly, "Don't worry about me, classmate Lu. You should worry about yourself. I bet you knew you couldn't find a job, so you gave up, afraid of losing face." Lu Wenlong, if that's all you have to say, there's no need. We aren't the same kind of people. Lu Wenlong sneered. "Sumo, good that you know we aren't the same. I'm telling you, we've graduated. Mangyue and I are both going to the Gu Group." "Do you even know the Gu Group?" "People lie you will never have a chance to enter." Sumo smiled. So what?" Seeing his indifferent attitude, Lu Wenlong was speechless, not knowing what to say. It felt like punching cotton, which was very frustrating. After a while, Lu Wenlong spoke again. "So stay away from Mangyue in the future. Know your place. Mangyue, let me tell you, don't associate with people like him. We elites don't associate with just anyone." Boring. Sumo turned and walked away. Lu Wenlong was furious. Wang Mangyue bit her lip, expression unreadable, saying nothing. "Third, why are you back so late?" Back in the dorm, all three roommates were there. Met two boring people, said a few words. Zhang Danian said, We've graduated. Fourth is leaving tomorrow. Let's get drunk tonight." "Alright, let's get drunk." College graduation is like scattering seeds. Even if they fell from the same tree, they received different sunlight in paths. Their fates are different. A few grow into towering trees, becoming pillars of society. Most are just there to fill the forest, vanishing into the crowd. Some grow crooked, and some don't even manage to sprout. With the breeze, with the she trim, until they rot and die, without a final destination. After eating, they went to KTV, saying goodbye through wailing songs, drawing a period on their youth. When they meet again, they'll be tired workers. Of course, Li Xian is the exception. They saw him off. Saw off Tang Hong Kong, saw off Zhang Danian, until only Sumo was left in the dorm. He wasn't in a rush to move out. Staying in the dorm a bit longer after graduation was the school's final care for its students. Everyone has obsessions. Sometimes it's not a person or a thing, but just a simple idea. If you can't satisfy that obsession, you might never be able to let go. June 18th, a very auspicious date. Major e-commerce platforms led the way, and Oplai stores were having crazy sales. By now, Sumo's leg was completely healed, except for a faint scar. You couldn't tell he'd been hurt. Night bar, a regular bar in the busy CBD. In the evening, Sumo appeared at the door. "Come on, enjoy that song." The song is called Night Color. If you like Cantonese, just become my. Forget your troubles tonight. Be a hep pie little sweet potato. Everybody go. Pushing the door open, the bar was playing a viral hit. He found an inconspicuous seat. A waiter came over and asked, "Sir, what would you like to drink?" Sumo looked up. "A glass of water, thanks." The waiter looked surprised, but quickly brought him a glass of water. The reason he came to Night Bar today. 3 years later, today, not far from the Gu Group. In his past life, after Wang Mangyue kicked him out, he stood below the Gu Group building, watching her throw herself into Lu Wenlong's arms. Heartbroken, he went to the Night Bar alone to drink, leaving the bar around 11 p.m. As he passed a nearby street, a drunk, he was hit by a truck and reborn. Since his rebirth, he'd always wanted to come back here. Now that he's back at the place where he died before, he feels a strange sensation. Starting over, Sumo wouldn't get drunk again, but sitting in the bar, he couldn't recall his past feelings. Sipping on plain water, Sumo felt deeply moved. Watching the crowds pass by, Sumo dozed off for a bit. When his alarm finally rang, Sumo took a deep breath. He paid his tab and headed for the exit. It was already 11 p.m. Being in the CBD, the streets were nearly deserted. Just as he turned the corner, reaching the street of his past death, Sumo was stunned by the scene. Life is full of choices. Several options appeared before him. Condition 1. 3 drunks were surrounding a woman. Their eyes were filled with malice. Their words were vulgar and provocative. Condition 2. Though the woman wore a mask, from her exposed eyes, her elegant clothes and graceful figure, it was clear she was a beauty. Option A. Keep out of trouble. Pretend not to see, and walk away. Option B. Shout out. Let her go. Come at me. Option C. Don't intervene, but record it as evidence. Option D. As an upright, hot-blooded college student, call the police and save her. Maybe she'll even offer herself to you. Sumo cursed under his breath. Why did a ding sound? And these options appear again? With rewards listed for each one. Surrounded by drunks, even someone as calm and collected as she usually was, Gu Lingyao was feeling flustered. The long-awaited project was finally settled. After working late, she wanted a walk. She was heading back to drive home, but was followed by these thugs. Beyond being a high-ranking 11-IO, she was just a woman. Even a man in this situation might panic. Forcing herself to stay calm, Gu Lingyao said coldly, "Go away. If you follow me, I'll call the police." Police? Boys, she says she'll call the police. The speaker was a bald man, with a face full of fat. He was bulky and pot-bellied, wearing a black tiger print t-shirt. His arms were covered in tattoos, clearly a real street thug. He wore a twisted, wicked grin, his eyes full of greed. Holding a bottle in one hand, he pointed at Gu Lingyao. "Call them. Go ahead, call them. I just got out. I'm not afraid of cops." All 3 of them burst into laughter. Gu Lingyao frowned. Knowing there was no reasoning with drunks, she reached for her phone to call 110. "Call? I'll show you calling." One of them slapped the phone away. The bald man reached out, trying to rip off her mask to see what she looked like. As she dodged, Sumo turned the corner and appeared before them. 2 of them ignored the newcomer. They kept spouting vulgarities. The bald man stopped his movement, glaring fiercely at Sumo. Seeing Sumo staring, he shouted, "Kid, what are you looking at? Get lost if you don't want to die." At the bald man's shout, the others and Gu Lingyao looked at Sumo. "It's him." Gu Lingyao recognized him. Her eyes held a flicker of hope. As she opened her mouth, Sumo frowned. He held his phone tightly. "Guys, this is a society of law. Bullying a girl this isn't right. I've already called the police. Before they get here, you'd better leave." The bald man raised his bottle at Sumo. "Damn you, you still dare to call? Boys, get him!" The bald man roared. The other 2 charged with their bottles. Even in his second life, living in a lawful society, Sumo had never been in a fight. He felt a bit panicked. Luckily, both were drunk. Their movements slow. Sumo dodged easily. One tripped over his own feet, shattering his bottle on the ground. Dodging their attacks, Sumo's heart was pounding. Adrenaline surged, and his fear vanished. He turned and kicked the other man. "Ouch!" the man cried out, clutching his stomach as he sat down. Sumo was just an ordinary guy. He couldn't watch all directions at once. It was his first fight. He had no experience. Crash! The sound of glass breaking as Sumo kicked the man down. The bald man smashed a bottle on his head. Sumo felt a sharp pain, then warm blood trickling down. He shook off the dizziness. The sudden strike ignited Sumo's ferocity. He let out a low growl, dodging the broken bottle. He swung his phone into the bald man's face. The bald man was already drunk, and now, hit by Sumo's punch, his bulky body swayed. Stumbling, Sumo kicked him again. The bald man fell to the ground. Then, he started raining blows on him. "Watch out!" a voice cried. Sumo jumped. The other 2 were back on their feet. One with a bottle, one with a shard, coming at him. Sumo dodged their attacks. He couldn't beat all 3 of them. They were desperate drunks. No need to risk his life. Thinking fast, he grabbed Gu Lingyao's wrist and ran. As they ran, Gu Lingyao looked at Sumo. He was half a head taller, must be over 1.8 meters. Compared to their last meeting, he seemed even more handsome. His sweat-beaded profile was charming, with a slight smirk. A sense of safety washed over her. Ignoring her gaze, Sumo ran about 50 meters, then looked back. They were still chasing, cursing, but being drunk, they were slow. He breathed a sigh of relief. "Call the police!" Sumo shouted at Gu Lingyao. Gu Lingyao stared at his profile. "Didn't you call?" "I was bluffing. How could I have time to call?" Her phone was knocked away, but she clearly had another. She pulled it out and dialed the police. Less than 10 minutes later, sirens wailed in the distance. Hearing the sirens, the 3 thugs sobered up instantly. They tried to run, but they hadn't gotten far before the police pinned them down. An officer walked up to them. "Who called the police?" "Me," Gu Lingyao said. The officer scanned them. "Are you a couple?" "What happened?" "Couple?" "No." They both spoke at once. "Then why are you holding hands?" Only then did they realize, since they ran, due to the tension, they hadn't let go. Looking at their joined hands, Gu Lingyao blushed. She was grown up, but this was her first time holding hands. And it happened like this. Her hand pulled away like lightning. Her eyes flickered. Sumo felt the soft, delicate touch, smooth as jade. He was confused too. He clearly grabbed her wrist. How did it become holding hands? Must have slipped. Definitely slipped. And why did you let go so fast? Why were you cornered by those thugs? Name? Suemo Gu Lingyao didn't answer. Officer, Suemo is hurt. Can you take him to the hospital first? Ask me anything else. The blood on his head had dried. Relaxing now. Suemo felt the throbbing pain. Fine. Lee, take him to the hospital. A young officer took Suemo away. Name, Gu Lingyao. Once he left, the officer continued the procedure. When asked her name, Gu Lingyao removed her mask, leaving the officer stunned. He asked again. Occupation, Gu Group. Suemo frowned at the mention of Gu Group. Can't be that coincidental, right? Must be the same name. But hearing she worked at the Gu Group, Suemo turned. Seeing him turn, Gu Lingyao smirked, giving him a faint smile. Suemo saw her face clearly now. He looked stunned. He thought it was just a name, but it was really her. Suemo shook his head, helplessly turning away, following Officer Lee. Gu Lingyao frowned. What's wrong with this guy? I'm a beauty, you know. She knew her effect on people, which is why she wore a mask. To avoid unnecessary trouble. What was that look he gave me? He even looked annoyed. This guy must have issues. Definitely issues. Sitting in the police car, Suemo looked frustrated. Gu Lingyao. Her again. Is this woman cursed? Both times on a Monday. Both times on a good day. But nothing good happens when I meet her. First time, I ended up in the hospital. This time, I got beaten up. All my bad luck seems tied to her. If I keep meeting her, I might actually die. From now on, where she is, I am not. Whenever he heard her name, he'd take a detour. They had no connection anyway. With her status, we won't meet again. Better not, Suemo thought. Officer Lee drove fast, taking him to the hospital. Another full trek up. Cleaning, stitches, tetanus shot, the works. Walking out of the trauma room, wearing a hospital hairnet, Suemo ran into Gu Lingyao again. She was talking to a doctor. Based on the trek up, it's just a scalp laceration. With cleaning and stitches, he'll recover. No major issues. Come back in a few days for removal. But he took a heavy blow. We can't rule out a concussion. Watch for nausea, vomiting, or fainting. If those symptoms appear, come back immediately. So, observe him closely for a few days. Best to have someone with him. He's out. If he's fine, you can go home. Gu Lingyao nodded. Oh cool, understood. Thank you. Seeing Suemo, Gu Lingyao tried to look gentle. Walking up to her, Suemo asked, why are you here? Her gentle expression turned cold again. What's wrong with this guy? You saved me. You're my savior. Can I come see you? Sure, you can. You didn't have to. Let's go. Everything's fine. Gu Lingyao was cold again. After saying goodbye to the officer, Suemo nodded. They walked out of the hospital together. They were silent the whole way. Just as they reached the exit, Gu Lingyao turned to Suemo. Does it hurt? Suemo said. It's fine. Gu Lingyao stared at him. Why? Suemo was confused. What? Why did you save me? Suemo sighed. No reason. Just think of me as a good Samaritan. Just doing a good deed. A Maybach was parked at the entrance. Its unique lines in silhouette made it recognizable without the badge. The lights flashed. Gu Lingyao opened the passenger door. Get in. Suemo thought about it. It was hard to get a cab at this hour. A free ride would be nigh. He could save on the fare. It was his first time in such a luxury car. He hopped inside. The luxurious interior, the high-tech console. Suemo was amazed. Suddenly, winning the lottery didn't feel as CU. The car was clean, with a faint, pleasant scent. Smells nice. As Gu Lingyao got in, Suemo said, Jincheng University, thanks. Gu Lingyao glanced at him, silent. The engine roared, and they sped off. Looking at the scenery, Suemo noticed something wrong. Jincheng University was in the west. The car was heading east. Did you take the wrong turn? This isn't the way to the university. Gu Lingyao just focused on driving, not answering his question. The engine roared, the car was quiet. Miss Gu, after asking twice, she still didn't answer. Suemo complained internally. This woman is toxic and crazy. Driver, I regret this. Let me out. Is it too late to jump? Suemo looked at Gu Lingyao. She might be toxic, but her looks were impeccable. Exquisite face, fair skin, cascading black hair. Everything seemed perfectly chosen, especially now, restrained by the seatbelt. Her figure was striking. Hard to look away. Noticing his gaze, Gu Lingyao turned slightly. Her eyes met his. Her beautiful face was cold. Looking away, Suemo accepted his fate. He wanted to save money, but now he'd have to pay for a cab later. I knew meeting her meant trouble. I promised to take a detour. Why can't I learn? Why did I get in the car? Today's events left Suemo exhausted. His head injury, he drifted off to sleep against the window. Once Suemo was asleep, Gu Lingyao glanced at him. This boy was different from the others. Others either wanted her money or lusted after her beauty. Everyone had an agenda. But he didn't care about the Gu group. He'd given up 5,000 yuan for nothing, and he saved her today. She remembered his large hand. It was warm and strong. When he pulled her, the sense of safety she felt was something she'd never known. Thinking of this, Gu Lingyao's cheeks flushed. She looked at him more gently. He's actually kind of cute. Gu Lingyao smirked. The car pulled into a luxury villa complex. Gu Lingyao parked. Seeing he was still asleep, she stared at him quietly. He looked like a child, so peaceful. She didn't have the heart to wake him. She waited quietly in the car. Suddenly, her phone vibrated. It sounded so loud in the quiet car. It startled Gu Lingyao. As she grabbed the phone, she saw Suemo frown. She answered, whispering. Chenya's voice came through. Miss Gu, we found the 3 thugs. Talk tomorrow. Are you home? Even though she whispered, it woke Suemo up. He opened his eyes, seeing her putting the phone away. Suemo said sheepishly, sorry, I was so tired, I fell asleep. Gu Lingyao's gentle look vanished. She was cold again. Get out. Oh cool, thanks. Sumo opened the door and was shocked. Looking at the luxury cars, he must be in a garage. The lighting was bright, letting him see every car clearly. He was overwhelmed. G-Wagon, Range Rover, Cullinan. Every man's dream car. They were all right there. He couldn't take it all in. Let's go, Gu Lingyao said coldly, without any emotion. Oh cool. Sumo regained his senses, following her graceful steps. Gu Lingyao walked beautifully, so elegant, full of poise, her slender waist swaying with her heels. Sumo had to admire it. Some people are just gifted. A perfect figure. It defied evolution. A faint scent drifted from her. Sniffing, Sumo understood. The scent in the car was her perfume. The elevator opened. Sumo followed her in. Gu Lingyao pressed the button for the first floor. In a moment, they arrived. As the door opened, Sumo froze, shocked again. He thought it was a mall, or at least an apartment. Before him was a minimalist, vast living room. Sofa, chairs, TV, everything. Rooms on both sides. Where is this? My place. The elevator door closed again, separating them. Gu Lingyao outside, Sumo inside. This is your house? That was your garage? Is this how the rich lie? Inhuman. In his past life, he spent money on fun, luxury cars and houses. He'd never seen them, and a few million wasn't much. Just enough for one car. Even if he bought one, he couldn't afford it. Today was a real eye-opener. Should have bought more. Should have bought 2 tickets. At least 10, maybe 20. If possible, tax-free. What are you waiting for? Come in. The elevator door opened again. Come in. Your house. Sumo didn't move. He was thinking about Gu Lingyao. I saved you. But bringing me to your house, isn't this too fast? I'm a bit handsome, but according to the script, should I ask if your cat can do backflips? No need for that. The elevator door closed again. Sumo's mind was spinning in circles. He couldn't figure out Gu Lingyao intentions. You were stalked by thugs just tonight, right? And now you're bringing a strange man home? A young man at that. A young man in his prime, no less. If it were anyone else, the morning headlines would be all about this. Prominent 11io brings strange man home. Ends in tragic, early demise. Is it a distortion of human nature or a decline in moral standards? Let's dive into this together. Tell me, aren't you scared? I didn't know I had potential as a reporter. Just as Sumo was lost in thought, the elevator doors opened again, revealing Gu Lingyao's cold, stoic face. Gu Zong, since this is your place, I won't go in. I'm a good Samaritan. No need to thank me. I'll just hail a cab and head back. Gu Lingyao held the elevator button, refusing to let go. The doors didn't close again. Just get in. What are you afraid of? Gu Lingyao's voice turned icy. Is this guy still thinking about nonsense? If that's the case, I might as well just throw him out. Sumo scratched his head. Gu Zong, we've only met twice. First, you hit me and sent me to the hospital. Today, I'm back in the hospital again. If I stay with you any longer, I'm afraid you'll jinx me to death. I won't even see tomorrow's sun. Gu Lingyao glared at Sumo, her expression turning visibly frigid. Listen to him. He's a human being. Why can't he speak Lai 1? What does she mean? I'll jinx him. Does she see me as some kind of disaster? Gu Lingyao stood there, cold as frost, her domineering 11io aura in full effect. Despite her icy exterior, she was actually amused by his words. I'd lie to see if I can actually jinx you. If you really do die, I'll make sure to visit your grave every year. I'll even burn extra incense. Sumo felt the air pressure drop around him. The temperature seemed to plummet. Sumo had never seen such a display. Overwhelmed by her presence, he gave a submissive nod, walking out like a schoolboy. Seeing his obedient demeanor, Gu Lingyao found it somewhat funny. Though her voice remained cold, you heard the doctor. You need to be monitored for the next few days. I figured since you're a fresh graduate, you're living alone. If you suffer a brain hemorrhage and die alone without medical help, wouldn't I be all over the headlines? Is that why you think I brought you home? Right. Gu Zong, your logic is impeccable. A beautiful, famous female 11io, bringing a fresh male grad home at night. Sounds pretty exciting, doesn't it? Sumo wore an I get it now expression. Gu Zong, if you're worried about that, don't be. I can write a statement right now. Whatever happens to me, it has nothing to do with you. Plus, I'm strong. I won't have any problems. Here's my WeChat. Scan it. When I'm not around tomorrow, report your status to me every hour. Got it? Wait, that's not right. Gu Zong, that doesn't make sense. I can't report to you while I'm sleeping. Gu Lingyao let out a cold scoff, cutting him off mid-sentence. She pulled out a sleek, black watch. This is a new product our company is developing. Wear it on your wrist. If your heart rate becomes abnormal, it will trigger an alarm, and I'll get a notification. Sumo sighed. His plan to escape had failed again. This watch is CU if I wear it, and my heart rate gets weird. It'll alert you, right? I told you, it's still in development. You asked too many questions. No, watches like this are already on the market, but the patents are held by foreign medical firms. Over the years, with changing international relations, developed nations have tightened their tech blockades, creating a technological barrier. Domestic companies often pay huge sums, buying patents that aren't even that advanced, or paying hefty licensing fees just to get the right to produce and sell. In the end, they're still at the mercy of others. You could say that beneath the prosperity of some nations, the rest of the world is just their blood bank, especially with those patent troll companies constantly suing everyone they can find, extracting massive settlements. As an AI Pi major, Sumo knew all about this. Whenever the professor brought it up, all the students would be furious, beating their chests in frustration. But the rules are the rules. One step behind, always behind. R&D requires massive capital investment, and there's no guarantee of a return. So many domestic firms lack R&D capabilities. Lie many pharma companies waiting for patents to expire, just to produce generic drugs, or making minor improvements to existing ones. Products like this already exist on the market, but Gu Lingyao specifically mentioned R&D. Even if it's still in the development stage, having a prototype means they've mastered the tech. And there's even a chance for innovation. Thinking of this,
Sumo felt a surge of respect for her.
Guzone, if that's the case, I really can't wear this watch.
This watch might contain the fruits of labor of countless researchers and massive funding.
If it gets cracked by a competitor before the patent is fully secured, it could be a devastating blow to your group. Gu Lingyao's eyes flashed with surprise as the 11io.
She naturally understood Sumo's concerns, including his earlier attempt to slip away.
If I tell you to wear it, wear it.
If I'm giving it to you,
it means it's not a concern.
Sumo understood again. If she's showing it off, it means they already have something even better.
But he still wanted to try.
Guzone, why don't you just buy me a regular one? That way it can link to your phone via the web. Gu Lingyao, where am I supposed to buy that?
And Sumo, are you sick in the head?
A brain hemorrhage causes a coma, not instant death. Can a heart rate monitor even detect that?
Sumo thought, Gu Lingyao, I thought you didn't know that. And why are you stealing my lines?
Guzone, your phone screen went dark. Sumo said, feeling a bit awkward. Gu Lingyao gave him a complicated look.
She had just snapped at him, and now she felt a bit of regret.
After all, he was her savior, but he really was annoying just now. Guzone, I've scanned you.
Gu Lingyao's voice softened again.
It's getting late. Pick any empty room on the first floor. The toiletries are all brand new. Get some rest. Oh cool, Guzone.
Sumo was confused.
This woman is really weird.
One second she's fierce,
the next she's gentle. Whatever, I'll just stay here for a few days. I've never lived in a villa before. Besides, the stitches will be out soon.
Gu Lingyao went upstairs,
washed up, and put on silk pajamas.
She recalled today's events.
When she was surrounded by those thugs,
she was panicked. When Sumo appeared, she felt a sense of hope.
When he held her hand and ran like a hero, she felt a sense of peace. It's just that this hero got his head cracked.
Gu Lingyao chuckled. When the doctor mentioned the risk of hemorrhage, she felt worried. As for bringing him home,
she admitted she acted on impulse.
But what she said was also true.
Sumo was likely living alone in the city.
If something were to happen, she really couldn't stop worrying.
After all, he is her savior.
She could have put him in her own hospital
and hired professional nurses to care for him, but she felt that would be disrespectful. Plus, Sumo is just a fresh graduate
with a simple heart. He doesn't look like a bad person. People are complex, though.
Making complex decisions in complex situations. Lie now, one sleeping upstairs, the other sleeping downstairs, just separated by a few meters and a solid wall.
When washing up, Sumo realized there were no men's slippers in the house.
It seems no one else lives here. At least, no other men.
But the villa was spotless. The furniture was dust-free. Someone must clean it regularly.
After washing up, Sumo walked barefoot,
pulled the cover off the bed, and lay on the soft mattress. He was already exhausted. He took out his phone.
June 22nd, 10:35 p.m.
It's already so late.
Sumo sighed. Just then, a WeChat notification popped up. Gu Lingyao has accepted your friend request.
What's the first thing you do when you add someone?
The answer is checking their profile picture.
Full marks for that.
Unless they're hiding something, you can usually find a person's interests there.
You can learn a lot about someone that way.
He opened her profile.
Lie him, she used her real name. But her profile picture shocked him.
Guzone, this doesn't fit your image at all.
He expected a professional city woman, or at least a photo at a luxury desk. That would make it easy to recognize her. The photo was her, alright, but it was at the beach. A cute girl with a smile. Wearing a white dress, barefoot in the water, clear skies, blue sea. Just a few seagulls flying by. Sumo couldn't help but think.
The girl in the photo was so radiant.
While the real Gu Lingyao
is a cold-faced 11io,
moody and unpredictable. Her feed wasn't hidden, but it was very empty. Just a picture of fireworks in the night sky.
Fireworks, beautiful and fleeting. That's it.
He thought he'd get a glimpse
of a successful entrepreneur's life, but that was it.
Sumo shook his head, put his phone down, and prepared to sleep.
As for the watch, it's useless.
Why wear it? While Sumo was checking her feed, she was also checking his. That's when she realized she had added his private WeChat.
This Otsao only had family and a few college friends.
Whatever, it's done. She clicked on his profile picture.
It was a very simple graphic,
just like his name.
A splash of ink on a white page.
She looked for a moment, but couldn't find any meaning in it.
Maybe it's just because of his name.
Both have ink in them. Compared to hers,
his feed was much richer, mostly photos from his part-time jobs with captions attached.
Though he didn't pot every day, she could tell.
He spent all his right time working. Is he really that short on money?
Gu Lingyao frowned. Regarding part-time jobs,
she neither supported nor opposed them.
In her view, part-time work can ease family burdens and provide some experience. But as a student,
unless it's a special situation, the main focus should be on learning, mastering professional knowledge. After all, everyone's energy is limited.
No one is born a genius.
It takes time to study and research, and those jobs were mostly service roles.
Hard work for little pay. If your professional skills are solid,
that's what determines your future. The return is far higher than part-time work.
Thinking you can build connections through that is just something from a TV drama. Other than having stories to tell,
it doesn't have much practical use.
The night passed quietly. The company had a lot going on. So Gu Lingyao arrived early.
After handling the important matters,
she checked her phone.
Shenya walked into the office with a stack of files.
Seeing Gu Lingyao's signal,
she quickly closed the door and left.
Waiting outside, Gu Lingyao opened WeChat, clicked on Sumo's profile, and started a voice call. Sumo was sleeping soundly.
Woken up by the sudden ringing, he rubbed his sleepy eyes. Gu Lingyao, hello, Sumo just answered. When her cold voice came through, didn't we agree you'd report to me every hour?
It's 9:10 now. I'm waiting for your report. She didn't even give him a chance to speak, hanging up right after. Sumo stared at his phone, speechless. You know it's only 9 o'clock. Being an 11-IO must be tough.
Staying up so late and working at 9. These are the files on the 3 people from last night.
And the report from the police. When Shenya was called back in,
She immediately placed the files on the desk.
Wang Hu, male, 33.
Gu Lingyao nodded as she looked through them. According to the police interrogation,
It wasn't a malicious act by a competitor. Gu Zone, the case is with our legal team.
the city and government are taking it seriously.
They'll ensure the 3 get the harshest punishment. I see. Shenya thought for a moment and added.
Gu Zone, I heard Sumo saved you again. You hit him with your car last month. You two really are fated. Fated? Maybe.
Gu Lingyao raised her eyes.
Shenya's smile froze instantly.
Gu Zone. Did I say something wrong?
No, go back to work. Oh, Gu Zone. Sumo was used to waking up early.
Now that he was woken up by her,
He had no desire to go back to sleep.
his stomach let out a hungry growl. After washing up,
Sumo explored the first floor inside.
clean, too clean.
The kitchen looked like it had never been used.
The fridge looked brand new, with nothing but a few bottles of water.
Right, when would 11-IO have time to cook at home?
Sumo grabbed 2 bottles of water, chugging them down.
His hunger subsided a bit.
Only then did he look around the villa.
Through the floor-to-ceiling windows,
He could see a large garden and a pool.
the yard had a unique mountain view, with a sheet rim flowing in the distance.
Further out, he could see other villas.
Other than walking around the first floor, he hadn't stepped foot upstairs.
Then he found a spacious study,
Filled with books on finance, history, and more, because Sumo worked part-time in college.
he rarely read books.
He picked one up and started flipping through it.
Before he knew it, he was completely immersed in the book,
It was his alarm that finally woke him up. Gu Zone, I'm still alive. He put his phone down.
and went back to reading. A notification sound rang out. Gu Lingyao picked up her phone,
Ignored it, and had lunch.
She was leaning back in her office chair.
Exhausted from the morning's working last night. Her phone pinged again. Gu Lingyao.
Did you forget something? Looking at the message,
Gu Lingyao frowned slightly.
she typed, "What is it? Sumo, did you eat?"
Gu Lingyao paused for 2 seconds.
Is this guy trying to get close to her? She thought about it and replied, "Det,"
Then she put her phone aside.
intending to ignore him.
But the notification sound kept pinging. When she opened WeChat again, Gu Lingyao was speechless and embarrassed. Sumo,
Gu Zone, you're so busy,
but you still eat on time? That's great,
but you ate, and I haven't. I didn't want to bother you with this. I wanted to make something myself, but your fridge is cleaner than my face.
I want to go out, but I'm afraid of causing trouble.
But I'm really hungry. Since last night, I've only had a few sips of water. I'm starting to get low blood sugar.
Gu Lingyao, are you trying to starve me?
Gu Lingyao felt a bit guilty. She really had forgotten.
Her fingers flew across the keyboard.
I see. Sumo was speechless. What does I see mean?
Are you really trying to starve me? The phone pinged again. Just wait. Less than an hour later, the doorbell rang.
Sumo opened the door.
A middle-aged woman stood there with a black box.
Mr. Su, hello.
Gu Zone asked me to bring you some food. Since I don't know your dietary restrictions,
I just brought a bit of everything.
Thank you, Mencius once said. Food and sex are the most important things.
Sumo agreed, spreading the food out. Sumo devoured the meal,
stopping only when he felt full.
He chugged a few more sips of water.
Hanging slightly rounded belly. So comfortable.
Sumo was in a good mood. He checked the time
and sent another message to Gu Lingyao.
Gu Zone, the dying Sumo has come back to life. Gu Lingyao didn't reply, but she chuckled and put her phone down. Shenya, nearby, saw her expression
and was deeply confused. As a secretary,
Shenya kept a close eye on everything. The tone of her voice, her expressions.
She could even guess when she'd go to the restroom. But today, Gu Zone was acting very strange.
She didn't track the time, but she checked her phone every hour.
And it was her private phone.
This had never happened before, and she was smiling at her phone.
Shenya guessed all sorts of possibilities.
A little flame of curiosity ignited, desperate to find the truth. Gossip is human nature, lie men liking beauties.
But Shenya told herself this wasn't gossip. It was about understanding her bot better.
To do her job better.
That's why she was the best secretary.
Gu Lingyao scrolled through her phone.
Since she's letting him stay for a few days,
food is definitely a big problem.
The easiest way is ordering delivery, but the villa area doesn't allow it.
And if someone saw her getting delivery, it'd look bad. People would say I'm hiding a lover, supporting a college student.
So letting him go out to eat,
or having the maid bring food every day won't work.
Right, he said he wanted to cook himself.
So he must know how to cook. Gu Lingyao thought of a solution.
Shenya? Det, Gu Zone?
Gu Lingyao voice startled Shenya, who quickly sat up straight. If I wanted to cook at home, what would I need to buy?
Ah, Gu Zone, you want to cook at home?
Not to be rude, Gu Zone, but you're beautiful, rich, and talented. You speak 3 languages, a business genius with a unique eye. The company is thriving under you, but I've never heard of you having cooking skills.
But quickly sat up straight.
If I want to cook at home, what do I need to buy?
Ah, President Gu, you want to cook at home? Not to criticize you, President Gu, but though you're beautiful, rich, and talented, well-educated, fluent in 3 languages,
a business genius with unique insight, and Gu Group thrives under your leadership. I've never heard you have cooking skills. Can your cooking even be eaten?
Of course. Shenya only dared to think it. He returned to your villa, President Gu. There should be kitchenware, right?
If it's well stocked, that's easy.
Cooking. Gu Lingyao rubbed her forehead.
Why is cooking such a hassle? Go buy some and put them in my car.
Alright, President Gu, I'll go now.
Shenya had lost count of his shocks today.
President Gu actually left work early.
It's barely past 4. Judging by her behavior today, she's likely not visiting the chairman.
As her secretary, he wasn't used to this.
Does that mean I can head out too? Sumo seemed lost in Gu Lingyao's books. He was reading with great interest. Come to the basement. Sumo saw Gu Lingyao's message. He put down his book. By the time he reached the basement, Gu Lingyao had parked her Range Rover. The trunk opened. Go move the stuff from the trunk up. Gu Lingyao's voice was as cold as ever. When Sumo saw the large bag bags. His mouth twitched involuntarily. President Gu, can you cook? Gu Lingyao answered honestly. No, President Gu. Then you can cook for yourself, right? Isn't it inconvenient for you to eat? You can cook for yourself these days. Oh, never mind then. So she wanted him to cook for himself. That's reasonable. That's fine. After Suemo stored everything in the kitchen, he saw Gu Lingyao reading at her desk. President Gu, when I was fried today, I borrowed a book from your shelf. Gu Lingyao didn't even look up. She replied coldly, have you eaten? Not yet. I'm about to start cooking. Do you want some? Whatever. Suemo was speechless. What's whatever? Eat or don't eat? I asked a multiple choice question. You gave me an open-ended answer. Forget it. I'll just cook. Suit yourself. After all, this is your house. I was just asking out of courtesy. Suemo went into the kitchen to get busy. As for cooking, kids from the countryside like him can do it. Back when he traveled with Wang Mengyue, she often complained about the food. So they often chose homestays and bought groceries to cook themselves. Because of that, Suemo read many recipes and followed many food bloggers. Over time, he had a few signature dishes. Before long, aromas began wafting from the kitchen. Gu Lingyao sniffed and stood up. Curious, she looked toward the kitchen. She saw Suemo holding the pan, stir-frying constantly. With his other hand, he poured in the sauce. As the spatula moved, an even richer aroma drifted out. Suemo looked very focused, not noticing the gaze upon him, since he didn't know if she'd eat. Suemo made 3 dishes and a soup. Stir-fried beef, steamed fish, greens, and tomato egg soup. Simple home cooking. He brought the dishes to the table. Gu Lingyao was back at her desk, focused. President Gu, want to eat? Smelling the aroma of the food, Gu Lingyao was actually a bit hungry. She glanced at Suemo. Since you've invited me twice, I'll have a taste. Suemo was speechless. I was just being polite. I wasn't really inviting you. You misunderstood. And I didn't know this 11io was so tsundere. Then thank you for the honor, President Gu. He served 2 bowls of rice. Gu Lingyao picked up her chopsticks and took a small piece of steamed fish. She chewed slowly. Delicious. She praised it silently, but her face remained cold as ever. Then she tried the stir-fried beef. Gu Lingyao savored the taste. She was used to fine dining. The home ingredients weren't like restaurants. It wasn't as good as professional chefs, but these dishes had a homey flavor, just like what her grandma used to make. Sadly, she hadn't tasted it in ages. When she was little, Grandma would serve food and ask with a smile, little Lingyao, is Grandma's food good? Good. Gu Lingyao would always answer with full cheeks, if it's good, eat more. Our little Lingyao needs to grow big and tall. Gu Lingyao took a small bite of rice, eating silently while reminiscing. Later, when she was 5, the law wasn't as strict as it is now. Her parents were ambushed by enemies and died in a car accident. Before she could recover from the grief, her grandmother fell ill and passed away. She could never taste that flavor again. Gu Lingyao ate very gracefully, but she radiated a sense of melancholy. Her eyes were a bit dim. Suemo paused for a few seconds, then started eating himself. The two didn't exchange a word until Suemo finished his bowl. Gu Lingyao was still eating. Not bad. Seeing Suemo look at her, Gu Lingyao said coldly, then put down her bowl and left. Tsundere. Looking at her half-finished bowl, Suemo muttered, what do you mean not bad? It was clearly delicious. Watching Suemo clean up, Gu Lingyao's expression softened again. This huge villa had always been hers alone. It was usually cold and quiet. Nobody likes being lonely. Some just get used to it. They call her a workaholic, a powerhouse. But who remembers when she took over the group? She wasn't even 25. Grandpa fell ill. The group was in turmoil. The massive Gu group fell on her shoulders. The business world forced her to learn and keep moving forward. She wanted to spend all her time at work, learning and handling company affairs. Only then could she survive the cutthroat competition and lead the group through the storm. But nobody knew. In the dead of night, she had cried and felt despair too. Though she gained honors beyond her peers, she bore pressure beyond them as well. For over 2 years now, the group had been doing better. She had full control of the business. Unless there were major decisions to make, she wasn't actually that busy. She left early and returned late, worrying about company matters, partly because she didn't want to return here. She had long been used to this life. Now, she felt a trace of warmth again. This feeling was actually quite nice. Gu Lingyao stared at Suemo, her gaze flickering. Seeing Suemo wiping his hands, she quickly turned away and returned to her desk to read. It was past 7 already. Suemo took out his phone on the sofa, checking messages and social media. President Gu. Though she didn't look up, he could tell from her tone that she was in a good mood. Do you have men's slippers? I can't keep walking barefoot. No. Can you take out the trash tomorrow? Outside, it started to drizzle. Gu Lingyao put down her book and headed upstairs. She slept soundly that night. Suemo also slept very well. After he woke up, he saw the trash was gone. Gu Lingyao had already gone to work. He sent a message to Gu Lingyao and unsurprisingly, got no reply. After making breakfast, he continued reading at the desk. Around 3 p.m., Gu Lingyao asked Chenya nearby, Chenya, anything important today? Chenya thought and replied, President Gu, there's nothing urgent left. Good. If that's all, I'm leaving. Bye. Under Chenya's confused gaze, Gu Lingyao left the office. After leaving, she drove to a nearby mall. Sumo's question about slippers reminded her he didn't have pajamas or a change of clothes. Though she didn't smell anything last night, they must be smelly by now. She wasn't buying them for him. She just didn't want to be near a smelly guy. Besides, buying clothes for a savior is normal, even if it's just for a few days. Gu Lingyao thought to herself. She walked into a pajama store. Hello, miss, looking for pajamas? Just looking. Gu Lingyao cold aura made the salesperson stop in her tracks. Alright, take your time. Gu Lingyao walked straight to the men's section and started touching the fabrics. This is bad, too old. Sumo wouldn't look good in this. This one is uncomfortable. Suemo wouldn't lie this either. She intended to buy them randomly, but when she saw the pajamas, her mind started picturing Suemo wearing them, so she started choosing carefully. She didn't lie this one. An hour later, Gu Lingyao left the mall. Unlike when she arrived, the car was full of shopping bags. She drove back to the villa. Before arriving, she messaged Suemo. Come to the basement again. Suemo put down his phone and muttered, President Gu, you went shopping? Seeing the bags in the trunk, Suemo couldn't help but ask, Dad, take these upstairs. Soon, Suemo was covered in bags. He could see they were men's clothes. President Gu, are these for your boyfriend? Gu Lingyao turned and glared at him. Suemo felt a chill. President Gu, I didn't mean anything. It's just that if you have a boyfriend, it's inconvenient for me to stay here. If he hears about it, it would cause a misunderstanding. My stitches are coming out soon anyway. Look at me, I'm fit as a fiddle. I'm fine. It's still early. I can go back now. Shut up. Suemo was confused. This woman is so moody. It's not illegal to have a boyfriend. What's wrong with saying it? Which hero managed to win over this 11io? She's even buying clothes for him. But fine, she won him over. But why make him carry the bags? If your boyfriend finds out, will he say the clothes are tainted? That he won't wear them? Glancing at the brand on the bags, Suemo was more certain than ever. She even bought pajamas. Definitely for her boyfriend. They're for you. While Suemo was imagining the drama, Gu Lingyao said coldly. Suemo was shocked. What? You bought them for me? Suemo was stunned. He couldn't believe his ears. Then I take back what I said. He whispered after a long pause. President Gu, isn't that inappropriate? Gu Lingyao explained. You said you had no slippers last night. I realized you had no change of clothes, so I bought a few. Even if it's just for a few days. I don't want to be near someone who smells. I see. Suemo understood. He lowered his head to smell his clothes. He had sweated a lot fighting those thugs. They did smell a bit. But President Gu, isn't this too much? I'm getting my stitches out on Saturday. Even if I change daily, I can't wear all this. Gu Lingyao was silent. It was a bit much. She hadn't noticed while buying. She just thought he'd look good in this, and that in that. Without her realizing it, Sumo's image had filled her mind. I bought them, wear them or not, your choice. The elevator opened. Gu Lingyao looked disgusted. I could smell the stench in the elevator. Go wash up and change. This time, Suemo didn't argue. He had smelled it himself earlier. Seeing Suemo walk into the bedroom, a smug look flashed across her face. I won't admit it, but I want to see how he looks in them. I just want to test my taste. Suemo looked through the clothes. Gu Lingyao, did you forget something? You bought pajamas and socks. Shouldn't you have bought underwear too? He hadn't changed in 3 days. Little Suemo was already unhappy. How could Gu Lingyao not have thought of that? The store was full of reminders. But even as a high-level 11io, she was too embarrassed to buy men's underwear. Even for a savior, it was a no-go. And the most important point, she knew those had sizes. What if they didn't fit? It would be uncomfortable. Unlike clothes, she saw Sumo's height and weight, so she could guess the clothing size. As for underwear, she hadn't seen it, so she couldn't guess. Suemo grabbed a set and went into the bathroom. He thought, fine, forget it. Now that I have new clothes, I'll just wash these tomorrow. Though he didn't like going commando. Sometimes, out of necessity, he had no other choice. When Suemo walked out of the bathroom, Gu Lingyao's eyes lit up. Suemo wore a simple gray t-shirt and cotton casual pants. Suemo was good looking, and though he didn't hit the gym, he exercised regularly, so he kept a good physique. He filled out the clothes well. The clothes Gu Lingyao bought weren't cheap. The quality was great. On his 1.8-meter frame, they looked much better than his old ones. She had to admit, her taste was excellent. The clothes looked youthful, yet steady and mature. If not for the medical net on his head, it would be perfect. Gu Lingyao looked for a few seconds, though her expression didn't change. She was very satisfied. He really looked good in them. Of course, not because he's handsome, but because my taste is good. Not bad. Seeing Suemo look at her, Gu Lingyao quickly looked away. She said with a cold expression. Suemo didn't care. Changing into clean clothes felt much better. President Gu, you haven't eaten yet, right? Want to eat together? Gu Lingyao glanced at Suemo, recalling the delicious food from before. She said coldly, I didn't want to, but if you make ribs, fish, and chicken, I might force myself to eat a little. Suemo was shocked. Her tsundere side was getting obvious. Suemo was silent. He'd seen picky eaters, but never 11io lie this. You asked for 10 dishes. Can you finish them? Just eat until you burst. He shook his head and walked into the kitchen. Gu Lingyao, lounging on the sofa, watched the kitchen door close. What did he mean by staying silent? I asked for so many dishes. Did he remember them? He wouldn't refuse to cook, right? I bought him clothes. Cooking a few dishes isn't too much, right? Fine if he doesn't. It's not lie I haven't eaten before. It's not lie I really want to eat, though I do want to a little. Gu Lingyao felt as anxious as a little girl. Inside, Suemo was busy, blanching the ribs, chopping eggplant, making sauce. While Gu Lingyao was lost in thought, the kitchen door opened. Seeing the steaming dishes, Gu Lingyao's eyes lit up. Braised ribs. Then Suemo went back and forth, the table filling up. Eggplant, fish, chicken, and tofu soup. Smelling the aroma, Gu Lingyao swallowed hard. She wanted to eat more and more. Suemo, you should call me to eat. Sure enough, he didn't disappoint. When he brought the rice out, he said, President Gu, dinner's ready. Her tone was still cold, but she agreed quickly. She flew to the table and sat down obediently, sitting straight like a girl waiting to be fed. As Suemo placed the rice in front of her, Gu Lingyao couldn't wait to grab a rib and take a small bite. Delicious, really delicious. How is it? Every chef likes praise. Suemo was no exception. Gu Lingyao pouted, sauce dripping from her lip. Her eyes showed satisfaction. She looked adorable. Good, it's oku. Gu Lingyao replied indistinctly and reached for the eggplant. Tsundere.
Suemo muttered and started eating himself.
When Suemo finished his tofu soup, he looked at Gu Lingyao's half-full bowl.
A hint of doubt crossed his eyes.
Is her cooking really just average?
As 11-IO, she was very disciplined, though it was delicious.
She ate very little. After eating, she stared softly at Suemo.
Seeing him look up, she immediately returned to her cold self. At that moment, Sumo's doubt turned into certainty. He had planned to ask her for cola tomorrow, to make chicken wings, but it seemed unnecessary now.
After dinner, she wouldn't clean up. That job naturally fell to Suemo. When he sat back on the sofa,
taking out his phone,
checking messages and social media, Gu Lingyao's cold voice came.
What's wrong, President Gu? You haven't found a job yet, right?
Suemo looked confused.
Yeah, haven't had time yet. Why do you ask, President Gu?
Are you planning to let me join the group?
As a reward for saving you? There's no need. Lie, I said. I'm a volunteer. I don't want rewards.
If you weren't worried, I wouldn't even be here.
Gu Lingyao's tone turned cold. Is the Gu group not good enough? How could that be?
The Gu group is great. It's a dream job for many.
Many of my classmates can't even get in.
Then why don't you want to go?
No, why wouldn't I want to go? I just don't want to. Gu Lingyao snorted. Her face was as cold as an iceberg.
A low pressure filled the room.
She turned away, not looking at him. Today he said he'd get his stitches out Saturday.
And would leave then.
The thought rose in her mind again.
Get him to work at the group.
But look at him.
He's so stubborn.
Doesn't know how to seize an opportunity. With her as the 11-IO.
He could get ahead in a few years.
Weird. Suemo muttered, not understanding her sudden mood swing. What did you say? Gu Lingyao was angry.
Hearing him mutter,
she got even angrier, her tone icy.
I think you're the weird one, ungrateful. Seeing her 11-IO aura explode,
Suemo was stunned for a second,
but he reacted immediately. I'm not her employee.
Why should I be afraid? Last time I was intimidated by her. This time, absolutely not.
Gu Lingyao, fine, I'm ungrateful then.
Suemo stood up and walked to the bedroom,
and soon came back out.
What are you doing? Seeing Suemo had changed back into his clothes, Gu Lingyao felt a sudden, inexplicable panic.
Suemo spoke calmly. I don't want anyone thinking I'm ungrateful. I'll just get out of your way. No, I said you can't go. My legs are my own. You can't control me.
Besides, don't worry. Even if I die, it has nothing to do with you.
Seeing Suemo walking toward the door, Gu Lingyao stood up and blocked his path. Move. She refused to budge.
Suemo headed toward the elevator instead.
He was trying to leave the basement.
Gu Lingyao felt wronged. She was furious. What kind of person is he? He leaves after one word? How petty.
And why does he keep talking about dying?
Can you please stop saying that? My parents have already left me. My grandmother is gone. My mother was an orphan.
I never even met my grandparents.
Now, my grandfather is sick too.
I'm running out of family in this world. I only wanted him to have a bright future. I just wanted him to work at the Gu group,
so I could look after him better.
And maybe, just maybe, I wanted to see him more. I know I scolded him, but he scolded me first.
He started it. The more she thought, the more wrong she felt.
She no longer looked like a high and mighty 11-IO.
Gu Lingyao remained standing by the door. She didn't try to stop Suemo again.
Instead, she pulled out her phone and tapped it. Suemo, reaching the